Thank you everyone for joining today's webinar, Visual Brainstorming with Artificial Intelligence. My name is Matt Caton and I am joined today with the CEO and original inventor of the brain, Harlan Hu.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. This is a pretty exciting presentation. We've been looking forward to this day for many years.
We certainly have. Actually, I was going to even ask you today, Harlan, even a year ago today, would you imagine or could you have imagined that we would be presenting a webinar on artificial intelligence in the brain?
Well, maybe not with quite as much capability as it has now. A year ago, this was kind of bubbling in the background, but hadn't kind of exploded as much as it has today. We've really been able to do some surprisingly effective things with AI. As you've probably seen in many other places, AI is really taking off, but the degree to which we've been able to leverage it inside the brain is quite astounding, actually. So yeah, I mean, you'll see as we go through here all of the things that it can do already, and we're really just getting started. So
Wonderful. Yeah.
It's quite, mind-blowing, literally.
It really is. And thank you everyone for joining us today. You're in for a treat. Not only seeing this fantastic new feature, but having it presented by the inventor of the brain himself, Harlan Hu, is going to be a lot of fun and maybe a few surprises along the way, let's hope for. But if you're new to the brain, we've been talking about this webinar over the past week, announcing that artificial intelligence has arrived in the brain software. If you are new to the brain software, I'd like to encourage everyone to see if you can join a Brain 101 in the future. If this is the first time you're seeing the brain software, you might be thinking, what is the brain? Well, the brain is a digital reflection of your own organic brain, for starters. All of your documents, your thoughts, your data, files, web pages, graphics, videos, they can all go into a visual user interface for easy access to all of your digital data in one source. And I encourage you to join a Brain 101. We hold these Brain 101 classes every Friday. And that's where we go over the basics behind creating thoughts within a brain. I actually have another brain that I demo from time to time. You can create a brain on any number of different topics that are important to you, whether it's your work, your business, your hobbies, your personal interests. You can create a brain database and keep track of all of that vital information. Pieces of information in the brain are what we call thoughts, and a thought can be connected to notes, documents, links to web pages, and other connected related pieces of information. So we're assuming today that you are familiar with the brain software. If not, once again, please visit our website, watch some of our getting started tutorials, or join us for a Brain 101 in the future. Today, we are keenly focused on a new feature of the brain software, and that's the integration with artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence is something, I think Harlan and I were referring to this earlier this afternoon, something that people have been asking about in the brain for a long time. They think, oh, it's called the brain. Does it think on its own? Does it create thoughts that you're interested in without your input? And like Harlan said, years ago, that might not have been imaginable, but now we're getting closer and closer to that scenario. And Harlan, I also wanted to ask you, why did you choose to incorporate AI into the brain, with it coming onto the scene so quickly just in the past, 6 months or so? It's just exploded in technology, and the brain was right there with it to incorporate AI. What was your thought process on integrating AI into the brain?
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, people have been asking about AI in the brain before AI was really a reality. So it's kind of been something that we've been keeping our eye on for a very long time. And now it is the day has arrived, so to speak. But kind of the dream has always been, I want to have a network of information all about X topic, and the ability to just generate that with the push of a button was never possible, but today that is actually the case. So yeah, I mean, the capabilities of AI are quite astounding, and something that I couldn't have imagined would happen as quickly as rapidly as it has. But the way that we've set it up inside of the brain will let people to kind of capture all of that power and put it into a structure that is actually usable for kind of real world applications, instead of just kind of like, oh, it's an interesting toy that I can play with and talk to. That's kind of one of the things that has kind of struck home with me, is that when I talk to people about AI who haven't spent a huge amount of time on it, they're kind of like, think of it as a curiosity, like, oh, hey, there's this thing I can talk to and it'll talk back to me and answer my questions. But it kind of takes a little bit of work to figure out, well, how do I really incorporate this into my life? How do I make this useful?
Yeah.
But when you put it inside the brain, it's you can kind of directly leverage its capabilities and easily incorporate it into all the rest of your information. So I think it's a pretty compelling application.
Yeah, that's a really great observation, and I've always thought of. I think I fell into that category that you mentioned, that AI is a curiosity. Oh, that's neat, that's cute. And now that it's in the brain, I see it as a tool. Just because originally looking at the brain software, and I've got two different I've got the same brain open in two different interfaces right now. On the left, you can see I've got the brain for the desktop, and on the right is the exact same brain accessible through the cloud, through the web client. We've got installers for Windows, Mac OS, iOS, and Android devices available, and you can sync all those through the Brain cloud and keep them in sync. And for years, I've thought of the brain as being that digital reflection of my own organic brain. It's my thoughts, my content, my information and interests. Why would I want AI to create that for me? But from time to time, I need to do some research on a new topic that I'm not schooled in, I'm not familiar with. It's a great example of when AI can start becoming resourceful for those research projects that we all might be working on, whether it's recreational or business related. Or just brainstorming in general. I'm going to be traveling, and why would I want to go to Montreal or Maine or New York? And AI can really start giving you a lot of information, and the creativity that comes along with AI can really be transformative in brainstorming. It's giving you references to things that you may not have thought of in the past. And I'm seeing a lot of that when I'm using AI. I really take advantage of the creativity function that allows me to see what I wasn't thinking of before. It's almost like a second opinion on a particular topic that I'm working on. And finally, time saving. I think time saving is a huge, huge thing with AI. You know, all this research and brainstorming that you do, rather than going to Google, you're simply going into the brain and using the AI to build out this information for you. And since I have both the desktop, yeah, Harlan, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, kind of crazily enough, it's kind of the opposite of what you expect in terms of the way you want to use it, because you think of yourself as being creative, or humans as being creative, but the AI is really it doesn't have any inhibitions. Right?
Right.
You can kind of ask it anything, and it's just going to answer you right away.
Yeah.
So in terms of creativity, that's a really interesting way to think about it, because most people wouldn't think about it that way. They think, oh, I'm going to ask it some factual question or something like that. But there's a lot of ways that you can leverage it that are kind of unexpected in terms of taking advantage of the way that it works and how it's able to kind of just give you an answer on anything. So
Absolutely.
yeah, hopefully we'll be able to demonstrate some of that throughout the webinar today.
Sure. And let's, all this talk about AI, it's time to maybe take a look and see how it works. And to do that, we're going to be going into the web client. And I really want to highlight that point right now. If you're using the Brain, you're familiar with the Brain software, you want to start using this AI integration, it is available right now through our web client. So just go to app.thebrain.com, log into your Brain account, open any Brain, create a new Brain. If you just want to kick the tires on this technology, create a new Brain on any topic, and you can get started that way. But it is available through the web client right now. And Harlan, I'm not sure if you want to add anything to that as far as
Sure,
where
yeah.
our AI technology is available.
Yeah, let me talk about that a little bit. So
Sure.
we have multiple clients, lots of different ways to access your Brain. Kind of the idea has always been to, let you have your Brain wherever you are on whatever platform you're on. And so that's why we have all these different versions of the Brain. But the web client is something that we've kind of really innovated a lot on over the last several months. For those of you who haven't been kind of following along, we released the beta version, I think, in January or February, something like that. And we've kind of been kind of rapidly iterating on it. But the web platform is something where we're able to develop new technology and release it to the public very quickly. So that's kind of where you're going to see innovations, new features, and things like that probably show up first, to more or less, with possibly with some exceptions. But a lot of the things that you're going to see in the web client will make their way to the desktop and to the other platforms. The Brain 14, which will be coming out later this year, will incorporate a lot of the features that you see here today in terms of AI, as well as a lot of other things that we've been working on, that you may get a preview of in the web client first. So yeah, so that's just a little bit of a background on kind of the different platforms and why you're seeing things today in the web client. So
Great.
But yeah, if you want to get started on AI right away, head over to app.thebrain.com, and you'll find all kinds of surprises, including the ability to do everything that we're going to demonstrate in the next hour or so.
Well, everyone, full disclosure, we had such an overwhelming turnout to today's webinar, both with attendees and folks that were actually logging in to check out the AI integration in their Brain. It brought down the servers. And those of you that joined the live webinar saw us restarting the server a few times. Well, as a result, we also lost the recording of today's webinar. So we are redoing the recording of the demo portion of today's webinar. And without further ado, Harlan, I'll hand it over to you.
All right, great. Thanks, Matt, and thanks everyone for your understanding with today's technical challenges. So let's get right into it. We're going to create a Brain here about Leonardo da Vinci. And as you can see, I've got kind of a base Brain here created. There's no content in it yet, but we're going to fix that in a moment with AI. So when I want to create content using the AI, I just go up here to the search/create area and click in. And normally I would type to create a thought here, but instead I'm going to go ahead and click the AI button. And as you can see, that opens up a little dialog here where we can configure how we want the AI to respond, what we want it to do. I'm just going to go ahead and stick with the defaults here and just ask it to generate a structure of thoughts. So when I click this button, what it's going to do is it's going to take the topic that I asked for and submit that to the AI service. And the AI is then going to generate some information about the topic that I asked for. And it's going to go ahead and bring back a set of information all about it, right? So in this case, it's brought back a whole bunch of information on Leonardo da Vinci's early life and education. So that's not exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to go ahead and click the redo button. And what you're going to find out is that you can ask the AI to give you information on a topic, and sometimes it's going to give you exactly what you wanted, and sometimes maybe not quite. And that's just kind of the nature of the way the AI process works. It's kind of using randomness and probability to generate the information. But that's why we have these buttons to be able to accept or redo the output. So here's the second set of output, and this one has early life and education, but it also has stuff on his inventions, his personality, his artwork. So this is much more kind of what I'm looking for. This is what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and accept this, and now I've generated, probably looks like 30, 40 thoughts here, maybe, all about Leonardo da Vinci and what he's done. So this kind of input into your brain can be done either in a new brain, like you're seeing me do here, or just right inside of your existing brain. And any topic that you build in there, you can then expand upon using the conventional ways of editing and creating thoughts in the brain. In this case, I want to go ahead and add in some information that I've got on my desktop here. Here's a document about mechanics of man, which is something that he talked about and made a lot of did a lot of innovations and so forth on. And I have never seen this brain before, so I'm just trying to navigate into it. So here's a section about his contributions on anatomy and the human body. I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop this information in here, put it in. And you can see it's now uploaded that document, and here it is for my integrated into this whole network here.
And Harlan, you're doing all this still in the web client. As we talked about earlier, the AI integration exists in the web client right now, and you're integrating new files, your own data into what AI has created for you. But that can be done in the desktop as well. You're still keeping the web client in sync with your desktop as well, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. So when you're generating things through the web client, it's going to automatically sync those documents and changes down to your desktop. The web client is just another way of accessing your information. We talked about this a little bit earlier in the introduction, but the capabilities of the AI are kind of debuting in the web client. They will make it, and they will be part of the Brain 14, which will be coming out later this year. So yeah, as you can see, I just created another thought in here, and you can, of course, manually edit the output of the AI. It's not kind of an all or nothing prospect. I can choose which pieces of content I want to keep, which things I want to discard, and also add things and change things on the fly. In this case, I've added a new section here for his documents and notebooks, and I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop in a link for browsing one of his notebooks. I'm going to go ahead and rename this. Let's see. Okay, and then this is another thing that I want to talk about here. So the first time we generated the AI output, it just went ahead and created these 5 thoughts. This is the new one that I just created manually. So I really wanted some information about Leonardo da Vinci's documents and notebooks. I'm going to go ahead and click into here and say I want to generate some more content from this point. And again, I'll click the AI button. And now I want to say I want documents and notebooks about Leonardo da Vinci, and I just want to create one set of thoughts here. So where before I asked it to generate an entire thought structure, this time I'm just asking it to generate a set of child thoughts. And as you can see, it has gone ahead and done that for me, right? And here's the thought that I manually added in there. You can see that it has also created this through the AI. So I can go ahead and move this now. I'm going to put this underneath there, unlink it here. And now I have kind of put together another generation of information about my research topic.
And I noticed, Harlan, the time difference between adding just a grouping of child thoughts versus a hierarchical structure of thoughts underneath,
Right.
underneath a particular thought. The individual grouping of just one generation, one layer of thoughts went very, very quickly.
Yeah. One thing that is kind of worth discussing, I guess, is the way that the AI works is that, like, when it starts to generate the information, it's kind of generating things one piece at a time. And the more information you ask it to generate, the kind of longer it's going to take. So if you want to kind of make a more interactive process for building a brain, you can go ahead and create information one layer at a time using the button to, oops, I have to accept this one. You can generate information one layer at a time by asking it to generate child thoughts. So in this case, I'm going to ask it to generate more information about the Mona Lisa. That's in contrast with the generate thought structure request, which asks it to generate, maybe even hundreds of thoughts all at once, right? So this gives me a little more control and the ability to kind of interactively create the structure, as opposed to just kind of sitting back and waiting for it to come in.
Great. And another question that we get quite often is really about privacy and security. What is being sent to the AI engine? You've added your own content, your own notes. Is that ever leaving the brain in any way? What actually gets sent out of the brain?
We're not submitting any information to the AI that you're not specifically submitting. Explicitly asking it for information about. So you don't have to worry about any of your data being sent to the AI or being used to train the AI. That's not something that we're doing. It's always explicitly clear what you're asking it to do.
Good, great.
So if I wanted to, let me go back and open up the AI dialog again. I'm going to go back to this section on the Mona Lisa. So, I was asking it to create kind of subtopics about the Mona Lisa, but in this case, I'm going to go ahead and say I actually want to generate a note. And you can see here in the AI dialog, the topic name is Mona Lisa. So in this case, this is the only information that's being sent to the AI. If I were to say, I want to have the context thought that this is, Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa, now it's going to send to the AI Leonardo da Vinci and Mona Lisa. So let's go ahead and click this generate note button so you can see what that does. And as you can see, the content is kind of dynamically appearing here as it's generated. And it's going to have all kinds of information about whatever topic it is that you ask it for. This is really kind of the preview, I guess, of how AI and notes will work in the brain. Right now, it can generate a note on any topic that doesn't have any content just yet. So if you got an empty note, then that generate note button is going to be available. If there's already content, as in this case, then it's going to be disabled. So that's just one thing to be aware of. We will be developing that further in the future so that it can insert new content into a note and help you in other ways that we'll be developing very soon.
But that note, that existing note that you just created, that can still be edited, correct? You can still go
Absolutely.
in and pull out parts, delete what you don't need, edit what you want to keep, and modify that note as you would if you had created it from scratch.
That's right. Yeah, this is just a regular note, just like any other thought in your brain. And you can cut and paste from it. You can edit it. You can do whatever it is you want.
Great.
The other thing that I wanted to show is, in addition to generating notes on existing topics, I can of course go ahead and create new topics. So let's say I wanted to have a thought about quotes from Leonardo da Vinci. I'm going to go ahead and create this thought here. And now when I go back to the AI, so you can see this is the information it's going to submit. But if I wanted to tweak this slightly, I can just edit this right here. I'll just say, oops, famous quotes by Leonardo da Vinci. And now it's going to use that as the prompt to generate the note, as opposed to just the basic thought. So yeah, Leonardo da Vinci had a lot of great quotes. As I was playing with this in preparation for the meeting here, I was struck by how applicable everything that he says is today, despite it being 600 years later, almost 600 years. Okay.
That's great. And one of the features that I like about this that I've actually used, I've generated a few notes in my brain. There's a feature on the desktop where you can actually copy a portion of that note and turn it into a new thought. So it's populated in your note. You can copy it, just select it, right click, and import that content into its own thought, which is just a great feature in the desktop. And very useful for those AI generated notes as well.
Yeah, a lot of the times when you generate a note through the AI, it is going to create kind of sections inside it. So here it's got early life and education is kind of the main topic, and then early life is the first one, education is the next one. If you use the extract, what is it called? Extract child thoughts.
Extract child thoughts, yeah.
Yeah, if you use the extract child thoughts feature, it's gonna create individual thoughts for the different pieces of the note.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's kind of the basics of AI covered. I want to spend a little time now kind of getting into some of the more detailed, advanced ways of using it. This becomes a little more nuanced, but if you spend a little time understanding it, you can get a lot more out of the AI. And have a little bit of an understanding of kind of how it works. So let's say that I go in here under painting and art, or paintings. So let's say I wanted to have a section here on just his paintings. So I'm going to go ahead and create a thought called paintings. And if I go and open up the AI again, if I ask it to generate thoughts right from here, what we're going to find out is that it is going to generate stuff about paintings without any knowledge that this is related to Leonardo da Vinci, right? So we've got portrait paintings, famous painters, interesting information, but this is too generic. What I actually wanted was paintings in context of Leonardo da Vinci. So that's what this set context thought button is all about. And what this does is it just lets you very quickly submit one more piece of information to the AI. I could have gone in here and said, paintings by Leonardo da Vinci and just typed it out. This is a nicer, kind of easier way to do it. And similarly, you can also use this other checkbox here for sending the child thoughts as context. So the set context thought button is if you want to select a specific thought that you've recently edited or that you've recently been on. And then the child thoughts for context is for when you have relevant information as the children and you want to create more things that are similar to what you've already got there. But in this case, again, I want to use Leonardo da Vinci, and I'm going to ask it to go again. You're going to see that it's going to replace what we had earlier with actual paintings by Leonardo da Vinci. Yeah, so that's kind of what the context information is all about. And again, this is showing kind of what information is submitted to the AI, and I'm explicitly telling it exactly what I want it to send, no more and no less. Okay, so the next thing that we should talk about a little bit is this whole concept of categories versus lists. So I'm going to go ahead and create a thought here for polymaths. And Leonardo da Vinci is one of the most famous polymaths. And this is a great example of categories versus lists. So when the AI generates information, if it's set to the categories tab here, it's going to create information about polymaths, kind of like different ways of exploring that topic, right? So we've got benefits, challenges, societal impact, and so on and so forth. A whole bunch of interesting information, but actually what I wanted here was examples of polymaths. So Leonardo da Vinci is one. Who else is there, right? So if I wanted it to do that, what I would do is switch this from categories to list. And now when I click this button, we should get a very different result. So here we are. In this case, it's generated 7 examples of polymaths. I actually want more, so I'm going to redo that again. Ask it to do it again. I could have kept those and then asked it to add to it, but I'm just going to go ahead and ask it to run it again, and voila, it generated a bigger list. So yeah, that's kind of part of the fun of the AI, is that it's a little bit unpredictable, and you can use that to your advantage in asking it to kind of redo things and tweak the settings every time. So.
But this is also, Harlan, just such a great example of something that we talked about earlier, how, the AI is thinking of things that you may not have thought of. What am I missing? What am I not considering? And here's just an unfiltered Nikola Tesla, Steve Jobs, more modern names are appearing in this list. And you're sort of in the mind of Leonardo da Vinci. You're not thinking of, Elon Musk, modern day polymaths that are, that fit this category. So it's like a friend with no filter, a lot of knowledge and no filter.
Yeah. 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 As you play with the AI more and more, you kind of learn what it's capable of doing, but it will surprise you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always, every time I use it, I always ask it, things that I don't expect it to be able to answer, and it comes up with stuff. So, but yeah, we're actually gonna explore that creativity a little more in the next piece that I want to demonstrate here. So a lot of people ask about the creativity setting in the AI. You can see it right here. And in some other interfaces, that's called temperature, but creativity is kind of a good way of thinking about it, I think. The way that well, first let me set this up here. So let's say that I wanted to I was thinking about opening a store for Renaissance art. Renaissance Art Store. So I'm going to go ahead and create a thought for that. And I want some ideas for a name. Ideas. So I go ahead and create this section here for name ideas for my Renaissance Art Store. And now when I go ahead and open the AI up and say, yes, I want a Renaissance Art Store name ideas, I'm going to adjust the creativity in this case. And ask it to create a list of names. And if I put the creativity at a very low number, 0 in this case, what it's going to come back with is kind of what it thinks are the most likely names for a Renaissance art store. And you can kind of think of this as something predictable, something maybe more bland. The AI is trained on a large set of text, essentially, and it's basically a prediction engine, and it's predicting kind of what's going to come next based on the conversation you're having with it. And when you set the creativity to low, what it's going to do is it's just going to stick with the safe choices. It's going to stick with what it believes is the absolute most likely things to come out.
It didn't go too far outside the box there.
Exactly.
Art Renaissance for a Renaissance art store. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You can see almost everything is just like Renaissance art.
Yeah.
There's a few that are a little more creative, like Artistic Time Machine, but like it's pretty constrained.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm going to go ahead and ask it to redo it, and I'm going to set the creativity up to the max. And this time we should get some more colorful names. And here we go. So Renaissance Rendezvous. That's interesting.
Masterpiece Muse, Vintage Visions. This is great. It's playful as well. They're doing a lot of assimilation.
Yeah.
That it wasn't picking up before. That's neat. Yeah.
Yeah, and even though we got 25 or so outputs there, I can still ask it to keep going. It doesn't get tired. Here we go. Yeah, let's get one more time. We'll get another set here. So yeah, this is like instant gratification. So now I've got a huge number of possible ideas here for my my art store. So yeah, that's kind of the overview. We covered kind of the basics of how to use the AI, as well as all of the different options and ways of experimenting with it and getting it to behave in different ways. Yeah, maybe we should talk about a few questions, or.
Yeah, we did have quite a few questions that came up in today's webinar, and a lot of people were asking about, seeing different examples of AI being used for different topics, and we want to make it clear this is publicly available now. You can go to app.thebrain.com and log in with your Brain account. You can create a free account if you'd like, but you can actually create a Brain and start using this now. It's publicly available at app.thebrain.com. So we welcome everyone, to check it out and play with the AI integration with your own topics and your own interests. And today is, we've taken a look at Harlan starting from scratch in a Brain, but as he's mentioned, you can incorporate this into an already existing Brain as well, if you'd like. So the choice is yours there.
Yeah. And yeah, as I said earlier, this is really just the beginning. We're still in a kind of a beta phase with this, but AI will be coming to the next version of the desktop client also. the Brain 14, which will be coming out later this year. We're listening to all your feedback and actively working on incorporating some of those ideas. One of the things that you can look forward to seeing in the very near future is the ability to generate AI results in different languages. So thank you for your feedback on that, and we'll look forward to hearing more and seeing how you use the AI. It's really takes the ability to create a brain to the next level. One of the things that we do here is create example brains for people, and this makes that job just like ridiculously easy.
Yes, we've both used it for that. We're creating brains, especially the marketing team, for topics that we're not always an expert in. As we said at the very beginning, the brain is great for research. If you want to create a brain, I don't know that Harlan is a Leonardo da Vinci scholar, but he's created an amazing brain in just a matter of minutes. Harlan, I think we have probably over 200 thoughts in this brain.
Yeah, no, it is astounding how quickly you can create stuff, just building out the structure alone obviously gives you a lot of information, a lot of context, but the ability to generate the notes and have that populate automatically, essentially, is also something that we haven't focused a lot on this demo, but like. It just gives you such a great way to get a summary of a topic and learn more about it without having to go anywhere or wonder like, which one of these results, which one of these paths should I go down first? It's going to give you the good overview of it pretty much instantaneously.
And the question came up, do we use AI in our existing brains? And I can speak for myself on that one. I certainly have. My family recently took a vacation to Montreal, and rather than going to Google and searching, best restaurants in Montreal, best museums, going to TripAdvisor, where should I stay in Montreal? I got into AI in the brain, and with a couple of queries, I found things about Montreal that I never would have known to ask Google. That there's incredible vintage shops and antique shops that my kids and my wife really love in Montreal. We found things to do just outside the city of Montreal, and it was all suggestions that came through a couple of queries in my brain on putting together, in this case, a new project, which was a family vacation to Montreal. It was really, really successful and helpful. So it's become, in case I didn't mention earlier, AI for me used to be a novelty, and now it's a tool that I actually use to learn more about a topic that I need to or want to.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the strengths of the Brains implementation of AI. Congratulations to the team that worked on this. I mean, they did a really great job. Instead of AI being kind of isolated as a chat system, essentially, the output of the AI can feed directly into your work environment and be tightly integrated with all your other content. So, as a kind of a way of organizing your AI interactions, it works really well.
Great. And Harlan, you want to share any ways AI is being incorporated into your brain databases other than marketing?
Yeah. I mean, we use AI a lot here, also just for technology stuff, things like that, and I use the AI to generate information about technology topics and software development and so forth. But I guess one of the more surprising uses that I've had for it is, I asked it to generate a brain about martial arts. I spend a fair amount of my free time doing martial arts, and I asked it to create a brain about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I didn't really expect it to give me anything interesting. But it really did. It was like just a whole new topic or a whole new take on a topic that I thought I knew quite a bit about.
That's a great example. That's great. Well,
Yeah.
thank you everyone for joining us today. And it's always a pleasure to introduce people to the brain. I'll highlight that we have a class every Friday, the Brain 101. If you're just discovering the brain through our AI and you want to know more about the basics, how to get started using the brain, whether it's on a Windows, Mac, iOS, Android, the web client, we cover those in our Brain 101 classes that we hold every Friday. So we welcome you to join us for the Brain 101. And you can always contact us, support@thebrain.com, if you have any questions in the future.
All right, great. Thanks again for everyone for joining us, and look forward to seeing your brains.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day and enjoy your brain.